Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Veikko and welcome to another exciting, phenomenal, creations video effect tutorial. Hope you guys all are doing well, since it's been a very long time since the last VFX tutorial on this channel, and I'm super sorry about that. But hey, this video is not about apologizing for that, for the mistakes I've done. This video is about the things you see on the screen, the holographic HUD element thingy when you watch Iron Man movies. So it looks pretty freaking rad. There's a lot of glows on the going on. We have some cool HUD elements, some cool textual and animations going on here. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Also this pitch black facing and lighting thing. Anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and I'm gonna show you step by step how to recreate this starting right now. So we are inside After Effects and we have our footage and some HUD elements here. And the best part about this tutorial, as in every tutorial I create, you have full access to my stock footage or the footage I have used, but also the HUD elements I use in this project, so you can use them in your own projects or just practice with this one. Alright, so let's go ahead and drop our footage to a new composition by dragging to a new comp button, and we'll check out this clip here. You see I'm just on a black background, I'm looking a bit around myself, and that's pretty much it. It's very basic, very straightforward. And if you are creating your own footage, if you're shooting your own footage, just remember to shoot on black background, because that will for the first, it will give this nice black light wrap around your face, but also will make several processes a lot faster and easier for you in the long run. And yeah, and then when you turn your head, don't turn more than 45 degrees, because that will help the tracking and stuff. So about tracking, yes, three-dimensional stuff is going on here. We have to do a three-dimensional track here. So select your footage layer and go to the track panel and click track camera. If you don't see this panel, no worries, just click window and find tracker, and from there it will appear on the screen. You can use it, or you can then just go to effects and presets and type in 3D camera tracker, and you should find it right here and drag it to the clip here, and it will start analyzing in background. So this is phase number 1 for this tracking, and we will let After Effects do its thing here, and once it has completed, I will be back with you right then. So once you have seen After Effects done its thing, and it has created a lot of these colorful cross type points on my face or on your face, depending what footage you're using, and these are the tracking points for our track here. And then you can use here in the menus, you can edit how big you want the points to seem. I can put something around this, and then I will make the target size a bit smaller so it's not huge when I'm trying to view something. So then I want to select the point that represents the three-dimensional planar for my face here. And what I could do is just really cool, just click and hold and drag this huge area right over here. And you can see it creates this plane here that represents my facial rotation and stuff in 3D. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to right click and type in create null and a camera. Once we have created a track and a camera, you can see them down here. You can go ahead and right click and type in or create solid right here. So if we go ahead and view this, let's click play. So this solid now represents my face here, or like my face in 3D, and it sticks pretty darn good, and this is very easily now edited and when we go forward in this edit. Alright, so we're gonna use this solid to create that black outline mask for my face, because in the Iron Man movies you don't see the ears, the hair, or the neck or the chin. So we're gonna use this solid for that. So let's go ahead and select our track solid here. Let's click Shift Command Y or Shift Control Y to get to the solid settings, and we can go ahead and change the name for this. Face matte should do pretty fine. Let's go ahead and make it black. Okay, and let's go ahead and enlarge this so it covers the whole face here. So when we play this, it should move. Make it a little bigger so it moves as the track, because it's a part of the track now. Alright, so good. So now we don't see ourselves anymore. Let's go to the beginning when I'm just looking fiercely into the camera. Let's go ahead and turn off the layer. Click G on your keyboard for your pen tool, or just click right over here at the toolbar. And then let's just make a really rough outline of my facial area here. Doesn't have to be perfect, just a rough one, so we have the focus on the face here. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the layer here. And now our face is black. We want to invert this, obviously. So let's go ahead and click M on our keyboard to get our mask properties, and just click on this little box called inverted. Alright, then let's go ahead and click F on our keyboard to get some feathering. So let's just give something like between 20 and 30 pixel feather. Let's see how it looks like. Let's double click on M so we get all of the mask properties here. And we can go play with the mask expansion. Just that much. Now let's see how this looks like. Okay, it looks pretty darn solid since that we have a very successful track in the background, so the solid is pretty well attached to my face. If you want to then get, for example, the ear covered down, you can, for example, you can go ahead and play with the mask expansion so we don't see the ear, or then you can manually go ahead and animate the mask pathing for different keyframes if you want that to happen. But I will go with this because this looks pretty darn good. I like how this is looking. Awesome. So now when we got that out of the way, we can go ahead and turn that all off. It's time to put on some elements here, don't you think? So I'm gonna put on a couple elements here, and then I will add all the elements after that, like a bit of a speed up, because it's completely unnecessary for you to follow along when I'm doing all of the elements. So let's go ahead and try to find something good here. I have a lot of kind of elements here, but I will go and begin with targets. Let's go take a target like number 4 here. Let's drop it on here. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, this is the one I used in the demo effect example. All right, so we have it right here, and let's go ahead and move it in space so we can get it to start when the clip starts, like this. But obviously it's not tracked to my face right now. We can fix this super easily. Let's go ahead and make it 3D. Let's click on 3D, and now it's 3D. Okay, but let's go ahead, and it's not really positioned well, so let's go ahead and take the parent tool here and hold the Alt key and go to the face map. Now it's pretty far away. Let's go back and let's go to the positioning. And let's take the element more forward. Even more forward. And let's just move it sideways. Okay, let's go ahead and, since I wanted to start somewhere around here, let's go ahead and let's move this into space so we can see the whole element. Let's go ahead and rotate it in Y space and probably X space a little bit. Let's move it up right here, and let's move it forward in time so it begins right there. Okay, it's pretty far away when it's here, so let's go ahead and let's move it somewhere around there. Let's go ahead and scale it up just a touch. This is basically just playing around with the rotation and scale and positioning so it looks and matches the feel you want it to look. But then I don't, when I'm looking at the screen, I don't want it to be in front of the face. It has to be somewhere around on the side. So this should be pretty okay. And you can always go and animate the positioning if you want it to be somewhere different. But this looks pretty okay for now. Good, awesome. So the next thing to do is we can go ahead and add another kind of element here. Let's go to the loaders. Natural loader. Let's go to the text elements and find, for an example, text number 15. Like this one. Yeah, this looks good. So let's go ahead and flip it horizontally, because I'm looking at the text. I won't make any sense of this if this is facing the wrong way. So right click and go to transform and flip horizontally. Good. Let's go ahead and also make this 3D. And let's go ahead and parent this with the Alt key to the target. Good. That will just give the same positioning and the rotation and all these kind of things. And let's go ahead and take the targets and click P for the positioning. Highlight the position and click Command C and go to the text and click Command V. So now it should be in the same position in 3D space. Let's go ahead and move this. Just gonna scale it down. Okay, so now we have pretty much covered the way how we have positioned these elements, and it's basically just playing around with the 3D space and make it parent to the other one, so and copy paste the positioning, the scaling, and just playing around so it looks pretty to your eyes. But the basic idea, when you placement this, so when your character looks in front, there's no elements in front of the face, and that they're somewhere around in the same Z space from the face, so they move pretty accordingly. And you just have to play around with the Z axis, just moving around and see what works for the best. As you saw in the speed up, it will take some time. But now, once I have done this, I will speed up the process while I put some other elements here also. And then we will go ahead and move forward from there. So yes, the speed up starts now. Alright, so this been quite a while creating this, but this basically the thing I've done. If you have wondered what the hell happened during that speed up, was I was just stacking on elements, just putting on elements, these circle elements, these icon elements, these more circle loaders, and you will find everything of these down in the description, so you can stack your own Iron Man HUDs like this. And also you can customize these texts if you want to. They are very they're like templates, so you can use them and customize them however you want. So I just stack them all together, and that's what makes this effect look so good, because you're just stacking them, putting them next to each other, and here in this case I actually put two pieces on top of each other. So if I have the circle 13 is the number 9 here. No, that's not the 13 here. So you can see I have this target from the beginning, then I just put this target, let's close this one, on top of it. So we have like two targets, and I want to show you a small trick I usually use, what I did just to add a little bit more of that high-tech automatism. It's just to make these small animations with this. So let's go ahead and make this a little bit clearer. Let's take an empty selection, click U on our keyboard, just to collapse everything. So the moment I look at this element right here, what I could do is, then I want this to have a small animation to move further away from the first element. So go to circle 13 and click P on your keyboard and click position. Let's go ahead and move somewhere around here, like 10 frames. Let's take the Z key and just move it across like this. Let's go ahead and highlight these keyframes and click F9, or if you're using a Mac, you have to use F9 to ease them, or right click and go to keyframe assistant and easy ease. Then let's go to the graph menu here. Make sure you can see in the listing that you're showing the speed graph and no, not other graphs, because then you can see like value graphs. This looks pretty freaking intense, so just go to speed graph. Now let's go ahead and select all these points. Go to the bottom point here, the last point, and just drag it to the left. So this will make it fast in the beginning and the smooth ending in the end. So if we go ahead and review how this looks like, have this small animation going on there. So let's have a couple previews here. That looks pretty good. What I could do is move it even further away, like this, so it's a little bit bigger. And let's go ahead and move the animation a bit sooner. So the moment I look there, we have the animation. And then when I look up, I could have, let's make another keyframe there, and let's go ahead and go back, and then let's go ahead and move it back just a touch. Nothing serious, but just a touch. Yeah, and we can go ahead and edit these values. So we have this, and let's make it other way. So it's slow in the beginning, but fast in the end. So that could look pretty good. Like this. So if you wonder why this is a bit slow of a process, it's because we have a lot of elements stacked on together to create this thing here. But all in all, this looks pretty freaking good. Okay, let's make this fast render here. But the thing to do next here is to add those cool glows on these effects here. So to do that, okay, this looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and start working with the glow, since we have the whole effect and element here ready. So before we do that, we have to do some pre-comps here, so it will be easier to work. For the first, let's go ahead and take all these face mats and the footages and all these kind of stuff, and we're gonna pre-comp these to a one comp. But first, let's go ahead and copy this 3D tracker and camera. You need it because when we do pre-comps, the three-dimensional information is lost. Well, once we pre-comp it in this composition, so we have to copy and paste it again. So let's copy this 3D camera, just Control C, and let's go ahead and select with Shift all these 4 elements, all other than the HUD elements, and then Shift Command C, Shift Control C to pre-compose. Let's call this main, like this, and I can see the elements are fucked up. So let's go ahead and now paste our camera back. So now once we have the camera back here, everything is normal, nothing is changed. That's why we copied and pasted the camera again, so the elements are moving to a 3D camera. Then next thing to do is to take all our HUD elements and pre-compose those to HUD elements. Click OK. And then again this happens, but then you click on this little setting control cogwheel here, and that will basically take all the information from inside that comp and paste it to this comp, so all the 3D stuff from there. So now we have one composition that everything works, and we have 2 separate compositions we can control later. Awesome. So let's go ahead and move on those glows. So let's take a good framing here. This looks good. Let's go ahead to the effects and presets panel and find ourselves the glow effect from the stylize category and find on the HUD element here. So this looks pretty freaking bullcrap, but we're gonna change this. And I have some couple settings, so which I think probably works best. Let's go and take the glow threshold here to something like 75% here, and take the glow radius to something like 520 pixels, so like some serious radius going on here. 1.4 in intensity could be good, and I think that is pretty good. So that's our first layer of glow here. Just like a cellular brightness glow stuff going on here. And then let's go ahead and duplicate this. So Command D or Control D to duplicate this glow layer. And here we have a bit different settings. Let's go to the glow threshold and find 96% to give that really bluish, that super blue, really deep blue, to be honest. And then let's go ahead and drop the radius to something like 150. This is not that big. And keep the intensity as it is. So this is our first Let's go ahead and drop that so we can see the first layer of glow here. Good. Then after this, what we do is we go ahead and duplicate this HUD Elements pre-comp. So duplicate this, Command D, just to make this even stronger, the glowing here. So the first thing to do, this bottom layer, we want to, let's go ahead and drop the opacity down to something like 45%. Let's go to the Effects and Presets panel and find Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur right there, and let's go ahead and blur it out like 56%. And that just gives, if we look at this, it will give some there. Okay. Cool. So you probably have noticed when we look at these colors here, you can see some color bending over here. We see these layers and bending, and that's because we are working with a very low color space here. We have to change the color spacing here so we don't get this bending. So let's go ahead and we have the 8 bit per color, the BPC here, and we want it to 16 or double it. So let's go ahead and click and hold the Option or the Alt key and click on this to change to 60, and then you notice the colors blend in more. So a nice small fix for you guys. Okay, so now we have some serious glowing stuff going on here, and this effect is very close to done here. The things we could do and add is, for example, for this element which moves forward, we could have it blurred out, small like a camera blur if we want to, depending on what kind of Z space they are in. So it's good to blur them out a bit, but I think this looks pretty okay here. The next thing to do here is probably have a little color cast on the face also, because it should have some bit of that blue hue from the effect there. So what we're gonna do is go to Main, where our face is, and go to the footage, go to effects and controls, and let's go ahead and get there a lumetri color. That's not a plugin, it's built into After Effects and Premiere and all these. And let's go to color wheels and keep them active, and let's just drop the midtones a bit more to the blue. Like this, and then we can take the highlights and get them a bit to the reds. Like this. So it's not a huge difference, but it will make a difference when we go back to our main comp here. So we got a bit more of that blue haze there. So let's go ahead and take a render, and let's see what we got. Alright, so this is the final result we have done here. It looks pretty freaking good. I have to be honest, it looks pretty good. I really like the result here. And we got a cool, I love this glows. This glows really gets me every single time. So this looks good. I like how it looks, and hope you guys did find this tutorial helpful. And yeah, that was pretty much it for the After Effects part. Pretty freaking rad, pretty freaking cool.